Get into the semifinals, and Mary Pierce very happily looking over to her coach and pleased to get through a big win for Mary Pierce. The tournament summary, we're going to look at the women's side because Martina Hingis is going to hold on to the #1 ranking for this week at least. Lindsay Davenport, though, I think everybody considers her the #1, if not on paper, in everybody's mind, and there is something about Mary's win today. Mary Fernandez, really, it was just an incredible performance by Pierce, hardly any errors.
Mary played one of the best matches I've seen her play in a long time. She only lost 6 points on serve, really played aggressively, and took it to Serena Williams. I think this match is a breakthrough for Mary because she lost to Serena a couple times last year, and she's trying to break through to that top 5 spot. And I think this match will give her a lot of confidence. Serena, on the other hand, still looking very unsure of herself. She made a ton of mistakes, especially off the forehand side, and she's trying to work on being more of a complete player by serving and volleying, coming into the net, but still looking very, very shaky.
When you talk about a complete player, and we always think of Martina Hingis, who we're going to see playing Monica Seles today, you have to give Hingis a pretty big edge in this match.
I think Hingis is a favorite going into this match. She likes playing Monica Seles. She's beaten her the last 3 times. Hingis is playing very well, only lost 11 games going into this quarterfinal match. Monica Seles, if she has a chance to beat Hingis, she has to take control of the points early. She's not moving that well. She's a little rusty coming off her injury, so she's going to have to attack, especially the serve of Martina Hingis.
Well, Martina Hingis, the clear favorite on paper, but sentimentally, it's all Monica Seles. We're also going to hear from Cliff Drysdale and Patrick McEnroe on the men's side of this big championship with all the top players in both men's and women's here this week in Indian Wells. Martina Hingis, #1 player in the world, takes on former #1 Monica Seles next from Indian Wells.
Open the box and push the button. What if
It's another beautiful day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Don't lose it to seasonal allergies. Take control.
And don't it feel good?
Talk to your doctor about Claritin. Just 1 Claritin tablet daily brings you 24 hours of non-drowsy relief from seasonal allergy symptoms. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pills.
Walking on sunshine.
Don't lose a single day. Take clear control. Take Claritin.
I hate grapes. Green and purple and seedless. Sure, they taste great. But on a supermarket floor, they can make for nasty slips and falls. Hi, I'm Al Mangoni, a safety specialist with Liberty Mutual Insurance. There's no reason the supermarket floor should ever be a dangerous place. So we're working on non-slip flooring and other materials to keep you safe.
At Liberty Mutual, we help you live a safer, more secure life. It's insurance in action.
I also hate bananas.
ESPN's presentation of the Tennis Masters Series is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. And by Sun Microsystems, we're the dot in .com. The women started action a couple of days before the men got here on Monday. You have Martina Hingis about to play Monica Seles, quarterfinal action, and all sorts of things going on around this beautiful tennis complex. And for more on the other matches going on around Indian Wells, let's go outside to Cliff Drysdale and Patrick McEnroe.
A full slate of men's second-round matches today. Pam, first of all, Henman and Grosjean in a match, Patrick, that you will see at least some of this afternoon. And then also let's talk about Hewitt of Australia, who's only lost 1 match all year as he takes on Byron Black, the Zimbabwean.
Yeah, we better start talking about Leighton Hewitt. I mean, this guy's the hottest guy on the tour right now. He wins in Scottsdale last week over Henman in the finals. He's won 3 events already this year. This guy's up and coming quickly. He'll finish in the top 10 at the end of this year. Tim Henman, he's played pretty consistently last year after a dismal second half of '99. He's been in the finals twice, losing to Hewitt last week in Scottsdale. A good matchup with him and Grosjean, and Leighton Hewitt should have a little too much game for the Zimbabwean Byron Black.
And then after the 2 women's quarterfinal matches, we'll get a look at Pete Sampras. He's got a tough one against Wayne Ferreira of South Africa because he doesn't like playing against him particularly.
He sure does, and Wayne Ferreira is a very consistent player. He hasn't quite gotten to that top echelon of men's tennis, but he's given Pete Sampras fits over the years. He's beaten him 5 times, in fact. fact, including once 4 times in a row. So Pete Sampras will have to play well. He did look good in his first match yesterday against Andre Medvedev.
And what about tonight's match? Patrick Roth, the big word on him is just how is his shoulder. He's been through surgery. He takes on Alex Corretja, who's no slouch even on a hard court.
Well, that's a nice matchup for a second round for a night match. And Rafter, that's his biggest concern right now, Cliff, how his shoulder responds after a good win yesterday. He's just looking for wins. He's just looking for matches. Corretja is healthy. He wasn't healthy at all last year, so that's a nice one.
Let's look at the features for today. Men's singles, Pam.
Thanks, Cliff and Patrick. Yeah, a lot of talk about the Aussie guys there. And Leighton Hewitt, it's interesting to see a teenage man with so many tournament wins already.
That's true. We're used to the girls being young and winning a lot of events like Martina Hingis. Only 19 years old. She turned pro back in 1994. She's not very tall, but boy, can she take the ball early and use her opponent's pace and power to her advantage.
Yeah, it's just great to see her. 134 weeks, 5th all-time, and she's not even 20 years of age yet. These are things that are just, you know...
It's remarkable. It really is.
Monica Seles, of course, another teenage phenom. About a decade ago, she's now 26 years of age. She's been through hell and back, on and off the court. You can see in 2000, she's 9-1. And Monica Seles, it's great to see her back after an injury. And we asked her just a couple days ago about playing Martina Hingis.
Martina is just a very consistent player. I think she's deceptively quick. I think when you watch her on TV, you realize how many tough balls she gives back and gives them back that you really cannot attack her again. So, and her return is fantastic. She puts a lot of pressure on your serve, and she's just a very solid player. I mean, and she's been coming in more to the net, I think, which has added a new dimension to her game. So you have to play really a fantastic match and be very aggressive against her if you want to come out a winner.
Well, perfect. It was like almost she was doing play-by-play for her own first point, came out aggressively.
I spoke to Monica before the match today, and she said, I know that I have to take advantage of the points early, especially off my return to serve.
Seles just with 2 wins. 98 French Open on clay, 3-2. I remember that match. And also later on that summer at the Canadian Open, the Du Maurier, 6-2 in the third. All the other times, it's been Martina Hingis starting in 1996. I actually saw the first time they played. I worked that match, and it was an absolute thumping 6-2, 6-love up in the Bay Area. And Hingis winning the last 3 times.
Well, if Monica Seles doesn't come out attacking right off the bat, Hingis can really toy with you. She did toy with Monica early on in their matchups, used a lot of drop shots, a lot of angles, and made Monica look silly out there.
So send an early message. Unforced error, very close on the baseline, brings up a couple of early break points for Monica Seles.
Nicely done by Martina Hingis. She likes the points to go on long against Seles. The longer the rally goes, the more advantage it is to Martina Hingis. She controls the ball so nicely, changes the direction of the ball so well.
Going for the winner there on the backhand side. 2 break points fought off. Deuce. Seles just making Hingis wait just a couple of beats. Had the sneaky fast serve from Martina Hingis, 99 miles an hour. She can do that every so often. You want her to do it more.
That's the serve I like to see her use more often, especially when she plays the big hitters like a Seles or a Davenport. Go for your first serves. Try to get a couple free points.
This is the matchup to pay some attention to during this match. For Seles to win, she's going to have to climb all over the second delivery. Just out. I'm not sure Hingis thought so.
This puts a lot of pressure on the server when you know if you miss your first serve, your opponent's going to come after it and attack it. Seles is known for how much he punishes that second serve, so Hingis is going to hit a few double faults today.
Another great serve on a break point down. That's 2 of the 3 times coming up with pretty good first serves. That one was more placement than pace. Great winner up the line. Martina Hingis has been coached her entire life by her mom, Melody Molliner, who's watching courtside. Of course, one of the sad things in Seles' life was passing away of her father a couple of years ago. It was her lifelong coach.
I know, but she called it. I mean,
Pam, I think there might have been an overrule on that point because they were playing the point at deuce. So Hingis complaining to the chair umpire.
Well, big turnaround now. The replay of the point, and now Seles with another opportunity. Her 4th. Important to get off to a break advantage.
That's Hingis' favorite forehand, the off forehand inside out. She lays her wrist far back when she hits that shot, so it's a lot easier for her to go inside out to Monica Seles' forehand.
Opportunity number 5 to break. And at each time, I think it's gone up the tee on this ad side. I think Seles perhaps needs to cover that middle a little bit like when you play Davenport. Which is then what happens a lot of times. I mean, so this is what Martina Hingis does so well. She can just mix it around.
Well, she's so smart. She knows when her opponents are catching on to one of her tactics, and she has such great feel. She uses the drop shot a lot against Monica Seles, and it works almost all the time. Well, and that was a perfect example of what Monica Seles said, that Hingis gets a lot of balls back. She makes you hit that extra shot in every point.
Game point now for Hingis. Point, please.
Terrific stuff by Monica Seles. Seles takes advantage of the second serve, really sets up the short ball, looks to come in. This is something I think Seles needs to do, take advantage of those balls in the air, not start the point over again.
Another one of her favorite shots. She takes that power and loves to drive the backhand down the line.
Well, whenever you come up to net against Martina Hingis, you got to cover the backhand down the line. It is her favorite shot. It's her trademark shot. Seles doing the right thing, but as you see, she didn't cover it. She didn't move to that side.
Well, what an opening service game. Martina Hingis hangs on after fighting off 5 break points. Monica Seles will serve after just a quick sip of water. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty on the women's side of the draw. Yesterday, 2 quarterfinals were played. Dementieva, a young Russian player who helped Russia get through to the finals of the Fed Cup, plays Lindsay Davenport, who's playing really like the #1 player in the world. It's sort of a jumpy kind of draw these days. A lot going on.
There's a lot of depth in the women's game right now. More than a handful of players can get through the semis and finals and win tournaments, which is great to see.
How much will that last game just play on Monica's mind, or is she just so strong it's over and it's just she worries about the service game?
Well, Monica's definitely probably one of the strongest players out there mentally, but I think against Hingis, she has so much respect for her that she knows that every game is a big game. Monica Seles has been working with her coach Bobby Bank on her serve, trying to get a little bit more shoulder rotation. Monica likes to stand up very face to the net. Her, her kind of middle part of the body is always facing the net. She's trying to turn that shoulder around. Says her timing feels a little bit off at times.
That's just wide, 30-15. Well, anytime you change a little something in a serve that you have had for a long time, it really can be off-putting. Bobby Bank, I believe, was Mary Jo, your coach for quite a while, so you'd know a bit about his coaching style. Here's Bobby.
Yeah, I worked with Bobby for a couple years. He's a very good coach, very professional, and he's very positive.
Seles with a couple of more opportunities to get on the scoreboard. On the left, that's Bobby Bank, your former coach, and there is your future husband in a month's
What a
time.
pretty picture, Pam.
And what a lucky man he is. That's Tony Godsick, who's seeing how much hair he has left.
Uh-oh. Great, Pam. I'm going to hear about that forever now.
Sorry. Well,
You're in big trouble.
I said it. You didn't.
I'm the lucky one, by the way. .40-30 now. Another game point for Monica Seles. She wants to get on the board early.
Yeah, she's got to, right now, put a halt to this string of opportunities lost on game points or break points. Going for the biggie up the tee. Hingis, such a pain. She can sneak out of a lot of games from game point down. Hear the nice reaction from the crowd. A little bit of a slip from the shoes of Hingis. 1-all. Both players with a hold of serve. Seles is a lot more routine.
Monica Seles just switched rackets. If you remember, last year she was playing with an oversized, a very light racket. And during her time off because of her injury, the engineers from Yonex came down to her house and brought a lot of new models for her to try out. And she finally picked one that was similar to the one she played with about 4 or 5 years ago. She feels she's getting a lot more power and doing a lot less work with it. You love to see Monica Seles take advantage of the short ball and come into the net. She doesn't feel comfortable up there, but she has to put the pressure on Hingis.
Nifty little half volley pickup. Love 15. This is a point now to gamble. It's 1-all. You're into the match. You've hit quite a few. Second serve. Seles should gamble.
Perfect tennis by Seles. Just like you said, Pam, I think every point she's got to gamble on because she doesn't want to fall behind in the point. So right away off the serve, attack it, and you get the short reply, and you go for it.
See, that immediately puts just an extra couple of degrees of pressure on the Hingis serve. Now another second serve. Let's see if Seles gives this a whack. She should. That was a good second serve, but still she was able to get outside it.
Well, Hingis has to be careful with her second serve to pulling out wide Monica Seles because Monica can come up with great angles when she's pulled out wide on both sides.
Another handful of break points. Power returning from Monica Seles. The crowd likes it. Seles up a break. 2-1. So far, she's dominating Hingis early. The loss in a final against Davenport.
Well, I'm sure Hingis wants to play Davenport as many times as possible to try to figure out ways to defeat her. The more times you can play against her, the better, I think. huge first serve by Seles. This is the one she goes for, the one up the tee, 103 miles an hour.
You can see Hingis leaning left. You always have to do that on that ad side.
Seles has really tried to develop the serve up the tee on the ad side and out wide on the deuce side, because the natural serve for a lefty is to pull your opponent out wide.
I tell you, Martina Navratilova used to do that all the time. She'd fool you the other way.
Well, great depth, Pam, from Hingis' return there. She doesn't overpower you, but check out how deep she hits the ball to set up the short ball that she can take advantage of.
2 break points to get the break back. So, break back 2-all. Monica Seles was asked about her serve and whether or not it's been improving.
I definitely feel my serve, I think, should be more of a weapon. And my returns, because they were such a big part of my game beforehand, and they kind of gone away a little bit. So I would say those 2 things would be my highest priority.
It's interesting because Monica Seles really knows that she has to have a weapon on her serve because of her lack of mobility on the court. She needs to get more free points, makes the points quicker. When you watch Hingis, she just kind of gets it in, 80 miles an hour, but she moves so well.
Boy, server having trouble, though. Only 1 routine service game so far. Seles' first service game, she held to 30. Another problem here, love 30.
Seles could have been up 3-love in this first set. She had break points in that opening game. She wants to keep putting the pressure on Hingis' serve.
Had to go with a one-hander there because of the fine placement. Yeah, sometimes I always found when you had a game where you know you should have won, sometimes you play that game in your head. Boy, it should be 3-1 instead of 2-all. I wonder if Monica does that.
Well, that's just terrific feel from Hingis. I don't even think the quickest of players would have reached that drop shot. She disguises it so well, takes the racket back like she's going to hit her two-handed, and then she just drops the wrist. Look at that finesse.
Puts a lot of backspin. See right there, the downward and side swipe. Deuce.
Spectacular point. Great defense from Martina Hingis, reaching this ball, hitting a bit of a drop shot, but look at Monica Seles' anticipation. She gets there and flicks the wrist cross court.
Yeah, Hingis' shot was unbelievable. She tried to play drop shot winner. Fighting off another break point with a good first serve, running forehand approach. Those are never easy.
And that's just perfect placement by Hingis. Taking the ball nice and early, hitting it right in the corner down the line. See Seles way in front of the baseline to return that serve. Look how she steps in and turns those shoulders into that backhand, Martina Hingis.
Deuce, we're at 2-all in the women's quarterfinal. It's the last of the quarterfinals. We've already got Davenport, Dementieva, and Mary Pierce through. This is day 3 of ESPN's 6 days of coverage, the Tennis Masters Series from Indian Wells, California. Mary Jo Fernandez, Pam Shriver, Cliff Drysdale, and Patrick McEnroe will bring to you some action on the men's side in just a little while. another break of serve. Seles up 3-2. The server having some troubles because the returning is so superior early in this quarterfinal.
Which
break again, 3-2 against Martina Hingis. A lot going on all around this facility. And for the action going on in the outside courts, men's second round, let's go outside to Cliff Drysdale.
Couple of solid matches, Pam. Sebastian Grosjean and Tim Henman on Stadium Court 2. First set to Grosjean. Now, he's never beaten Henman. They played a couple of times since Grosjean got to the final at the Lipton last year. Now the Ericsson 5-2, second set to Henman. So it looks like that is going to be even after 2 sets. And then on Stadium Court 3, Leighton Hewitt and Byron Black in Zimbabwe. Here's a surprise. Hewitt's only lost 1 match here. He's in trouble. He lost the first set. 6-3. Leighton Hewitt leads 2-1, but we're on serve in the second. Now back to center court, Pam Shriver, Mary Jo Fernandez.
Thanks, Cliff. Monica Seles trying to do what she could not do the last time she served, consolidate the break, starting off with a fault.
Well, that drop shot wasn't going to cut it. A little bit too high, too... just pretty much told her beforehand what she was going to do.
Seldom see Seles make such a poor shot selection. It's a big game for her to try and get through and win this first set. A couple of matches already completed on outside courts. Enquist, the Swede, beat his countryman 6-1, 6-4. And Ruzetsky going out to Max Mirny, otherwise known as Serena Williams' mixed doubles partner. He's starting to have some pretty good results in singles. So who would have thought Williams would lose and Mirny win for that team?
Well, still in a little bit of trouble, Monica Seles, down 15-30 in this game. She really needs to focus on her first serve. I think you should take a little bit off of it just to get it in, maybe jam Hingis a little bit. She doesn't want to give Hingis the advantage of taking the ball early off her second serve.
That is the accuracy we remember so well from the early 90s.
Well, this is pure power from Monica Seles. Great shoulder turn, a lot of acceleration on her shots, and just right in the corner.
30 all, biggest points so far of this first set. Still feel like a lot of Monica's faults are in the net. I don't feel like she stays up and extends through the ball. Drops her head down. That's that matchup that you were talking about she doesn't want.
Exactly. Whenever she throws a second serve, Martina Hingis moves up into the court, and she changes the direction of it so well. And since her wrist is laid back, as you can see, it most often goes up the line.
Her wrist is laid back, and she's pretty laid back most of the time, too. Talk about some wrist action there. A flick of it gives Martina Hingis the break back.
Well, Monica Seles way off the court really had to hit a winner, because if Hingis got to it, there was no way Seles was going to recover.
See if the server can get on track again. 3 all. Each player started the match with a hold of serve, although Hingis faced 5 break points in that opening game, and then it's been 4 breaks ever since.
15.
Seles. You could see she was a couple feet inside the baseline when Hingis went to serve that second serve. That puts a lot of pressure on the server, and she's all over it.
That one Just wide. This is Monica Seles' first month back in competition since September. She's been out with a stress fracture, missed the end of '99, the beginning of 2000. Didn't make the trip down to Australia, where she's only lost once at the Australian Open. Started off with a win at Oklahoma City at the IGA Thriftway tournament. That was an important first step in the comeback of Monica Seles, losing to Davenport in Scottsdale. As you look at the service numbers for Hingis, trouble with a second serve. Martina Hingis holds on the serve, ending the run of 4 straight breaks. Seles trying to hold when we come back. NCAA tournament is not the only game in town. It's NIT time on ESPN tonight. We've got a triple header on ESPN. First at 7 o'clock, it's Georgetown and Virginia. Then at 9, it's Michigan and Notre Dame. And then at midnight, South Florida and New Mexico. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. That's tonight on ESPN. First point of the game. What?
I think Monica Seles needs to start focusing a little bit more on the first 2 points of her service games. Trying to get a lead in her games. Whenever you lose the first point, it's always difficult. Another early return from Martina Hingis. Above 30.
This is the matchup that's been a problem for both players. Seles winning only 2 of 8 on second serves. Now 2 of 9, which matches Hingis's record also on that. Now triple break point. Real momentum shift the last 2 games.
15
It'll certainly help, but it's still a long road back. Just getting so many of the tough balls back and even doing something with the last one, forcing the error for Monica Seles, and now up 5-3 and will serve for the first set.
Martina's mom looking a little bit more relaxed now.
I don't know why she didn't wear sunglasses. It's so bright out here.
It is very bright and very hot on the court.
Saw in the opening it's supposed to be in the low 90s, but on the court, probably be in the low hundreds at least. A few whistles in the crowd. Court 2, you've got 3 sets coming up with Henman and Grosjean. And we'll be showing you some of that 3rd set action. 15 love.
30 love.
Oh, Pam, definitely a momentum shift towards Hingis right now. Monica's starting to press a little bit, making some unforced errors, and Hingis really taking control of the points by taking them on the rise.
Since the 6th game, when Seles for the 2nd time was serving to go to consolidate a break, it was at 30-all, and then Hingis broke, winning the next 2 points. And the last 3 games, Seles having trouble winning points. Shows you how stubborn and stingy Hingis becomes late in a set. Unless she's playing Davenport.
Two set points for Martina Hingis.
Big first serve, 104 miles an hour, and Martina Hingis shows that she can do some damage with a big first serve, but the server had some trouble in the middle of this first set. 4 straight breaks of serve until Martina Hingis, at 3-all in the set, took total command of Monica Seles, winning the set 6-3.
I'm a professional band.
Going on outside courts, we're going to take you out there to men's second round in a little while. Our coverage tonight of the Tennis Masters Series Indian Wells continues at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. here on the West Coast on ESPN 2. Tonight, former #1 Patrick Rafter takes on Spain's Alex Correia. Join us tomorrow also at 3 p.m. on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Well, not a good start by Monica Seles. But look at these achievements by both players at such a young age. I mean, Monica Seles won 8 Grand Slam titles before she was 19, and so unfortunate that she did go on to get stabbed and missed out on 2 years, but she was dominating.
Look at all those weeks at #1, both players. 165 to Seles.
And I have to say, I give so much credit to Monica Seles for coming back, and coming back so strong. I mean, a lot of people I know criticize that she hasn't been able to get back to #1 and #2, but it's a lot tougher now. The competition is a lot stronger.
Trouble here again for Seles on serve, facing 2 break points. Miss hit there, and Seles really needs to hit a winner there. Does not get close enough to the sideline, which I think is a big problem from where she was 8 to 10 years ago. She would always hit that ball within 6 inches of the side. Coming up with a big ace there, fighting off one of the 2 break points.
8 to 10 years ago, the players weren't able to track down her balls. I mean, she overpowered everyone consistently. Now a lot of the players are fitter and faster and give her a lot more trouble.
Seles starts off things here by being broken. Martina Hingis up 6-3, 1-love. Join us for a look back at the career of one of the NFL's greatest, former Miami Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino, and a favorite of Mary Jo Fernandez. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Classic Sports, we'll spend 5 hours watching the most memorable moments in the career of this future Hall of Famer. To order ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC or call your cable provider.
Check out those Hingis fans in the stands.
Oh, no, they're a bit skinny for me.
They're going to be lobsters at the end of today.
You over your depression yet on Marino retirement?
Not yet. Give me a few more weeks.
A few more weeks, you'll be getting married. You ought to be over your depression. 30-love, Hingis, continuing this big momentum shift that started at 3-all in the first set. There we go.
There's a fan.
In honor of.
Seles overhitting a little bit now. One of the problems when you're a little rusty, haven't played a lot of matches, you get tired quicker. You have to go for more earlier in the point.
Well, you always say Hingis do this when she really starts to take command, serve and volley.
Well, you know when she serves and volleys against Seles that she's confident. She knows that she's in control of this match right now. She's got such good feel, and she does come up with great shots.
A little bit of an in-your-face move, really. I know I can beat you from the back of the court. Now let's see if I can also beat you from serve and volley, which she knows she can. Monica not impressed at all with that call on the baseline. Neither are the fans.
It was a little tough to see from our position.
Monica's clearly not in the way of the linesman. I don't know. I'd say that's certainly too close to overruling. And we see Ulrich doing the right thing there. It's totally up to the baselines judge. Love 2. The Monica has to hit that first ball in the air, Mary Jo.
I think so. She's got to take some chances, take some time away from Hingis. Because Hingis moves so well. There you see Bobby Bank, Monica's coach. He's been trying to get her to come in, move in, and feel more comfortable at attacking at the net.
That's the move she needed to make 2 points ago.
And Monica feels comfortable when she can swing volley. She doesn't like having to volley the shots away. And as you see here, she does take advantage of the ball in the air. Takes a good swing at it. Very unorthodox. But it is a shot we're seeing more and more these days. This morning, Mary Pierce hit a ton of them against Serena Williams, all for winners.
Well, Seles, I mean, it's really incredible how she just cannot hold serve. Held her opening service game to 30, and that's been it.
Such a clean match for Martina Hingis. She plays such high percentage tennis. Oh, terrific passing shot on the run from Hingis. We saw Hingis in Australia play matches where she was in the single digits with the unforced errors.
Watch Hingis, if we can see her here. She's already after this ball. Look how close she is to the ball right after Seles hits it. That is what she does so well. She reads the play. 2 break points.
She didn't read that serve, but she is a great anticipator in the game, and that's one of the reasons she is so quick. It's because she gets a head start.
Follows up the ace with a double fault, and Monica Seles is totally frustrated because it's 6 straight games for Martina Hingis. Can she stop the run of the #1 player in the world?
It only happens once a year. The Jack Harrison.
They're going to hike to later, right up to the top there. We want to get some snow. You're a South Florida girl. You never see snow that much. Have a good snowball fight and then come back down for tomorrow.
It's hard to believe there's snow on top of the mountains when it's so hot here in the desert.
That's what altitude, did they, in science class, did they explain?
It's a long time ago, Pam. I've been out of school for a long time.
6'3", love. Love 15 on.
Martina, we're going to have to fix something.
Oh, that's a good look. You could play at Wimbledon like that, all white.
Well, Seles doing the right thing, going after Hingis' second serve. Just missing a little bit wide. Well, finally, we see a couple unforced errors from the Hingis side. Does have a comfortable lead, so I guess if you're going to make unforced errors, this would be the time to do it.
If Monica could just see to a break here and then finally hold serve again, they could change ends at 3-2, and there'd be a little window there. That double fault, bringing up 2 break points. That's Hingis' second double. That's where the speed factor is really hurts Monica Seles.
Well, in today's game, it's so important to have both a good offense and a good defense. And with Monica, she just has a great offense and lacks that defense.
Again, the unforced error helps Monica Seles there. The crowd gets in on the act because they're happy to see Seles break that string of 6 straight games.
Now this becomes a big game for Seles. She's got to get her confidence back on her serve, get a little momentum going with it. I think it's becoming a little bit mental right now that she can't hold on to her serve.
I was kidding you about your schooling. I just added wrong. 7 straight games. That Hingis had won up until that last game, and now Monica Seles with a good point, starting things off on her serve, needing a hole to close the gap here in the second set. Monica Seles has been trying to hang on to that top 10 ranking, and you can see it's been difficult for her to climb inside the top 5. You see her titles on the right, only 1 in 99. Obviously, the one earlier in 2000, but she fell out of the top 10 because of the injury.
And I really think if Monica wants to get back to winning Grand Slam titles, she has to get fitter. She has to start moving better to become a bit more of a defensive player when you play the big hitters like Davenport and the Williams sisters.
She was unseeded for the first time in her career, the last tournament, or in the first time in like a decade, it seems like.
Monica was very smart in playing a smaller event in Oklahoma on her way back, and I think that's something some of the top players around 5 to 15 should do, especially someone like a Kornikova. Get some confidence, win some matches.
Just wide, break point for Hingis. You bring up a good point, Mary Jo, because we remember what Andre Agassi did to start this long comeback. He played a couple of satellite events, even smaller than the IGA Free tournament that Seles won a couple of weeks ago. Martina Hingis again breaks Monica Seles' serve. Seles only held serve once. Hingis in command, up 6-3, 4-1, 2 games away from a semifinal berth. The other 3 semifinalists, men's action going on outside courts. This is day 3 of 6 days of coverage from Indian Wells. Pam Shriver, Mary Jo Fernandez, Cliff Drysdale, and Patrick McEnroe. They're standing by, ready to bring you some men's second round action. The men started about 3 days after the women's tournament began here.
There you see the great variety in Hingis' game. Another serve and volley. Soft hands at the net. She makes it look very, very easy.
Hingis again with a serve volley move, holding on to serve, and now Monica Seles will serve to stay in this quarterfinal match.
What a turnaround. I mean, at 3-all, we really thought that this match was going to be a lot tougher, a lot better contested, but Hingis, after she got the momentum in that first set, never looked back.
So typical of Hingis. When she gains confidence, makes very few unforced errors.
Monica trying to be a little bit cute on that shot.
3-all going with serve between Tim Henman and Sebastian Grosjean on Stadium Court 2. I'm going to be able to show you the end of that match. Unforced error from Monica Seles, 25 in the match. Hingis with about half as many. 2 points away. point. Great gets from Martina Hingis to stay in that rally. The unforced error from Seles brings up 2 match points. Backhand return winner. Martina Hingis relieved to get through. It's always a tough mental match playing Monica Seles.
Oh, definitely. Whenever you play Seles, you know you have to play your best. Hingis did what she had to do.